The first thing Amelia Harper felt was the light, harsh, fluorescent, slicing through her closed eyelids like a scalpel. Then came the fog, thick, disorienting, swallowing every attempt at thought. And finally, cutting through it all, a single name. Ethan. I need to call Ethan. The urge hit her like muscle memory. She tried to push herself upright, but pain exploded across her skull and down her right side, slamming her back into the stiff hospital pillow. A low groan escaped her lips. The room tilted. Antiseptic stung her nose. A steady electronic beep counted her heartbeat. Hospital. Coma. Accident. The words surfaced slowly, like debris after a shipwreck. Before fear could take root, the door opened. A man stepped in, not rushing like an overworked resident, but moving with the quiet desperation of someone who'd been camped outside for weeks. Tall, dark-haired, broad-shouldered. Late 30s. His gray eyes locked on her and filled with something raw and aching. Amelia, he whispered, voice cracking. You're awake. He stopped at the bedside, hand half raised as if to touch her face, then thought better of it. Amelia stared. Nothing. No recognition. Just a handsome stranger who somehow knew her name. Who are you? The words scraped out, dry and fragile. The hope in his eyes flickered and died. He exhaled slowly, steadying himself. Where's Ethan? She pressed, the name her only lifeline. Does he know I'm here? The man closed his eyes for a beat. When he opened them, the emotion was locked down behind a calm, professional mask. My name is Michael Anderson, he said gently. I'm your husband. The word landed like a bomb in the sterile room. Husband. Impossible. She was 21. An art major at NYU. In love with Ethan Caldwell, the boy with the messy blonde hair and the laugh that made her feel invincible. They'd fallen asleep in her dorm the night before, talking about weekend plans. She remembered that clearly. She shook her head, too fast. Pain flared again. No. That's not. I'm not married. I'm with Ethan. Michael pulled the chair closer and sat, elbows on his knees. The sadness in his posture was almost unbearable. Amelia, you were in a car wreck 3 months ago. You've been in a coma. The trauma caused retrograde amnesia. You've lost the last 7 years. 7 years. To her, it was still 2018. She was 21. To the calendar on the wall, it was 2025. She was 28. Married. To him. He lifted her left hand with infinite care. A slim platinum band circled her ring finger, a single diamond catching the light. He held up his own hand, matching band. We've been married 5 years. He unlocked his phone, opened the photo roll, and turned the screen toward her. Wedding photos. Her in a simple lace gown on a rooftop in Brooklyn, smiling up at him like he was the only person in the world. Honeymoon in Big Sur. Christmas in a cozy house she didn't recognize. Her head on his shoulder during a rainy hike in the Catskills. Dozens of moments, happy, ordinary, intimate, that belonged to a woman who looked exactly like her but felt like someone else entirely. She stared until her eyes burned. Nothing stirred. No warmth. No memory. Michael pocketed the phone. I know it's overwhelming. The doctors will explain the neurology. Right now, just know you're safe. But she wasn't. She was drowning. I need to talk to Ethan, she said, voice trembling. Please. Michael's jaw tightened. Something painful flickered across his face. But he nodded once, reached for the sleek new iPhone on the bedside table, and handed it to her. Your contacts are all there. Her fingers shook as she opened the list. Michael, husband, sat at the top of favorites. She scrolled to E. Ethan Caldwell. Relief flooded her, until she saw the red blocked icon beside his name. Blocked. By her. The room spun again. Why would she block the love of her life? Michael stood. You need rest. He left quietly. I'll give you space. Closing the door with a soft click, Amelia stared at the screen until a tear slipped sideways into her hair. 2 days later, Michael brought her home. The house was a renovated brownstone in Park Slope, exposed brick, high ceilings, huge windows overlooking a small backyard garden. The kind of place 21-year-old Amelia had pinned on Pinterest and sworn she'd own someday. Now it felt like a movie set. Michael gave her the tour like a careful host. Living room with mid-century furniture. Kitchen with marble counters and fancy appliances. Upstairs, their bedroom, calm grays and whites, books she didn't remember buying stacked on her nightstand. Your studio's down the hall, he said. I left it exactly as it was. She drifted through rooms that smelled faintly of cedar and coffee. In the dresser she found clothes that weren't hers, silk blouses, tailored jeans, nothing with paint stains. Tucked in the back drawer was an old iPod Touch, the one she'd had in college. She powered it on with shaking fingers. Opened the music library. Top song, the one she and Ethan had claimed as theirs freshman year, she hit play. The melody filled the room and memories crashed over her, campus lawns, late-night drives upstate, Ethan singing off-key in the shower. Real. Vivid, hers. She sank onto the bed and cried for the life she still felt in her bones. Downstairs, Michael cooked dinner. Seared salmon, her favorite. She ate because he'd gone to trouble, but it tasted like nothing. Her favorite had always been late-night diner burgers with Ethan. He showed her portfolio, sleek branding work for tech startups, awards on a shelf. A life of quiet success she had no memory of building. He was patient. Gentle. Never pushed. But every kind word felt like trespass. That night, alone in the too large living room, she unblocked Ethan's number and texted 3 words. It's me. Amelia. She didn't expect an answer. The phone buzzed almost immediately. Incoming call, Ethan Caldwell. Her heart stopped. Leah? His voice, exactly the same velvet warmth that used to make her knees weak. Ethan. Her own voice broke. Oh my God. I heard about the accident. That bastard wouldn't let me near you in the hospital. Are you okay? I don't remember anything after 2018. Silence. Then, softer, maybe that's not the worst thing. Maybe we get a do-over. Another pause. I never stopped loving you, Leah. Not once. She cried silently while he spoke, every word confirming what her heart insisted was true. She was so lost in it she didn't hear Michael come home. Didn't see him pause in the doorway, grocery bags in hand, face going pale at the sight of her tears and the phone pressed to her ear. Pain, sharp, unguarded, flashed across his features before he locked it down. He disappeared into the kitchen without a word. When he returned, he set a mug of chamomile tea in front of her. He's not who you think he is anymore, Amelia, he said quietly. Then he walked away. She agreed to meet Ethan the next week at their old coffee shop in the village. Michael watched her leave without asking where she was going. At the door he only said, "Be careful." Ethan stood when she entered, that same crooked smile. Older, sharper around the edges, but still heartbreakingly familiar. He hugged her like he was afraid she'd vanish. The first hour was magic. Old stories, shared laughter, the effortless rhythm they'd always had. He painted the missing years in careful strokes, how Michael, supposedly his friend, had waited for a rough patch, exploited her doubts, convinced her Ethan was toxic. Stole her. It fit. It explained everything. Then the waitress spilled water. A glass hit the floor. A few drops splashed. Smile. Light laugh. Accidents happen. But Amelia had seen it. That cold, sudden cruelty. A chill of recognition she couldn't place. She'd seen that look before. Hadn't she? The rest of the coffee date felt brittle. When she left, his smile didn't reach his eyes. She came home to find Michael on the back stoop, staring at the early stars. He didn't ask how it went. Just shifted over on the step, making room. After a long silence he pointed upward. Orion's belt. 3 stars in a row. He spoke softly about the hunter forever chasing the moon goddess across the sky, love and longing written into the constellations. His voice was low, steady, kind. Nothing like the hiss she'd heard hours earlier. For the first time since waking, the knot in her chest loosened. She didn't have the memories. But maybe, slowly, she could start trusting what she felt in the present. Maybe the life she'd built in those lost 7 years wasn't the lie. Maybe the man sitting beside her, quiet, patient, heartbroken, was the one who'd earned her heart when she was whole. And maybe, just maybe, she could find her way back to him.